With your draft most likely coming up this weekend, there are 10 names that you need to know that are either rising or falling in the fantasy baseball industry, and we have the keys to those answers for you on today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source of fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Dominick Martino. You can find me on Twitter at DomMartinoFB. Here, as always, with my brother, my co-host, my partner in crime, Matthew Ane, and you can find him on Twitter at Matthew_Ane. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, hit that little bell below. It will subscribe you to the channel and give you a notification every time we drop a new episode. Or if you're listening on the audio side of things on a platform like Apple or Spotify that allows 5-star ratings and reviews, we would truly appreciate it if you could do that for us. And lastly, mostly important to you guys and Matt and I this time of year, give us a chance on the Subtext platform. And what's really cool right now, if you do join us on Subtext and you share, our post, each post that you share gives you one entry to our chance to get an entry to our listener league. Right, we're already giving away our first 6 spots. Those are already locked up. There's very limited spots left. So if you do want to join, once again, join us on Subtext, and you not only get the chance to join the listener league, you also get access to Matt and I's 2025 ranking, sleepers, breakouts, bust, and so much more than we offer in these 30-minute episodes. So if you are interested in any of that, join us on Subtext. The link is in the bio, wherever you're listening, watching, and it's available on any of our social media platforms. And guys, this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. And all right, Matt, drafts are right around the corner. Literally, Matt and I, we had a draft yesterday. As you guys are listening to this, probably, maybe 2 days ago at this point. We were in the season. It is the season. We have 10 names today. We got 5 risers, 5 fallers. And these are names that are moving up, moving down draft boards. So you're going to want to make sure you take advantage of these guys while you can. And Matt, why don't you lead the way here, brother? Who are we going first? Which way? Are we going rising, falling? What do you got for us?
Well, we got a riser to start off the show. You got to start off on a high note, and then, I'll let you fall real quick. No pun intended. But, ultimately, I want to talk about this guy. He's, probably the most impactful guy that I still think is going at a good price. It's Gavin Williams of the Cleveland Guardians. I don't have his ADP up, Dom, if you can help me out with that.
Yeah, I got it for you in a sec.
But he was absolutely buried coming into draft season, and now since the spring performance, he's just been climbing up. Gavin Williams right now, 8 innings. Go ahead.
Yeah, so on Fantasy Pros, SP72 picked 241, but I'm going to pull up NFBC over the last 2 weeks to see how much he's actually risen.
Yeah, he's gone up a lot because, I'm seeing him, even yesterday, he went so much earlier than I would have thought he was. It was actually kind of crazy, Tom.
I took him. Yeah, I was going to say that's my fault.
Yeah, you just kind of took him, which is fine. You grab your guys. But, what he did what he's doing in spring training is kind of what we've been waiting for, right? He's pitched about 8 innings, got a win, gave him only 5 hits, hasn't given up a home run yet, only given up 1 run, and has only walked 2 guys and has 16 strikeouts. So, 2 Ks per inning at this point. He's just doing his thing. He's blowing people away with that fastball, and he's really just looking like we thought he would. It's just taking a little bit of time for him to kind of, come out and be the guy that we thought he was. It's not like he had a really bad year last year. It just was kind of we'll say inconsistent. And there were some highs, there were some lows and things like that, but still finished with almost a 5 ERA. But, you look at his profile over his minor league career and, 3.29 ERA, a 2.39 ERA, a 1.96 ERA, 1.88. He has been really good his whole career in the minors with just blowing people away with strikeouts. He's got a mean fastball. He's got a couple other pitches that I actually really like. I think that he's going to be very impactful coming into this year. So I'm drafting him every chance I get. He's somebody I can't leave the draft without unless Tom's in the league. And then he just reaches really high because he knows I'm about to do it myself. But I love the dude. I've liked him since he's, been in the minors. And I think that this is the year we see him break out. All right. Dom, there's this thing called unmute yourself. And
yeah, there you go. Sorry about that, folks. So with Gavin Williams up 40 picks over the last 2 weeks, up from pick, what was it, about 240 plus. He's going around pick 200 over the past 2 weeks on NFBC. So you're going to have to reach him a little bit. Not crazy. You know, I didn't go too far. I think I took him as my SP 6 or 7. So if you're getting him in that range, I think that's more than fine. The upside is honestly, I want to say like an SP 3-ish. He has great stuff. He can strike guys out. You know, Cleveland notoriously good at developing starting pitching. You look back at guys like Corey Kluber, they've been doing it for a long time, took McKenzie to another level for a little bit. I think they're going to do the same here with Gavin. Broken down very well. One of my favorite guys to snag at the end of my rotation for sure. Let's move on to a follow, though. Let's go with somebody that's moving down. Rafael Devers of the Boston Red Sox. I think it's just more about there's a lot of confusion going on over there in Boston. So when they first signed Alex Bregman, it was like, oh, well, you know, Bregman's going to play second, Devers is going to play third, you know, and Devers didn't really want to move off of third, you know, and then Bregman comes over, you know, spring training, he's playing third base. And they interview Devers, and Devers says, you know, he wants to play third, and then there's this mysterious injury that's going on with Devers, and I just feel like there's a lot of hoopla going on, for lack of better words, and I don't really want to be involved in it. I'll take the Austin Rileys, the Machados, you know, even Jazz. I'll take, you know, because Jazz has third place eligibility on most platforms. I'll take them all over Devers. Devers was going, you know, around pick 30s, falling to like around pick 37. So, you know, I mean, if he falls 4th, 5th round, yeah, you could look at him there. But I just think with all the stuff that's going on there, I think it's going to be a weird season for Devers. I think we're going to see a little bit of dip in production, you know, just because he's not happy. And when you're not happy in life, you know, you're not going to be performing at your best. And maybe there's a trade. Maybe things change. But right now, it's a little bit scary with Devers. Probably avoiding him, like I said, you know, in that same range. You can still get the Rileys, the Machados a little bit later if you want to wait. Kind of Westberg going about 30 and 40 picks later, respectively. So I think that's the move with Rafael Devers at the moment. I'm not super concerned about him in general, but you know he's a tough one. He's a tough one for me at the moment, Devers.
Yeah. Now you pretty much said everything very well. I mean, you look at it, you go, okay. You know, we're seeing a little bit of dip. We're seeing this. It's just, you know, manage your expectations and then, you know, pull the trigger when you're ready. So yeah. Great job. I'm going to be moving on here because, quite honestly, we just need to fit all these guys today. I'm going to talk about Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes, honestly, doing his thing this spring. You know, going over to the Mets, 14 innings pitched. He's got a win. Only given up about 5 hits, but hasn't given up a home run yet. He's able to suppress that. You know, only given up about 2 runs in total, 5 walks, 15 Ks, which is wonderful. A little bit over a K per inning. And a 1.29 ERA. Look, I mean, I'm still, you know, one of those guys where I'm just kind of like, I don't really like guys that go from being a relief pitcher to a starting pitcher. That's kind of just me. But I can't deny what he's doing out on the mound. I just hope that it continues throughout the season. Let's see what it's going to be. I definitely am seeing what I'm seeing in spring is enticing me to turn around at least and make him draftable for me, where I wasn't even willing to touch him with a 10-foot pole. So Clay Holmes is somebody I'm definitely coming up all draft boards, obviously, and I think should be drafted and not overlooked anymore.
Yeah, Matt, I'm with you. I wanted no part of Clay Holmes coming into the year, especially as a Yankee fan. I'm like, oh, they're going to transition him back to a starter. It's not going to go well. It's going to be an absolute mess. But let's not forget, once again, as I kind of mentioned, Clay Holmes came up as a starting pitcher. He pitched starting pitching in college, and then, you know, when he came up with the Pirates, you know, he was originally a starter, failed starter, converted to the bullpen, did a great job over the years, you know, building up, getting saves. And yeah, Matt, you mentioned the spring training. He's been absolutely dominant so far. You know, the Mets, you know, they said they target him for a reason. He is up to around pick 213. Once again, you grab him as like your SP 6, 7. You know, it's not the end of the world. He's a guy that, hey, listen, if you get him as your SP 7, you drop him. If he doesn't perform well, and you move on to the next guy. But there's obviously some upside here. I really do like Clay Holmes. Matt mentioned we drafted yesterday, another guy that, you know, I might have taken for my rotation. So, you know, I practice what I preach. Clay Holmes, just a nice little sneaky pitch, a nice little sneaky pitcher at the end of your rotation. And I really like the upside here.
Yeah. Great take on him. Let's do this now. Before we come back and hear other guys that are either rising or falling, you'll just have to stick around right after this. Okay, so When it comes down to fueling your body, quality matters. That's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. Just Ingredients offers an NSF certification line of protein powdered electrolytes, pre workouts, and creatine, all rigorously tested to ensure they're free from substances banned by major athletic organizations. Just Ingredients has also partnered with two-time MVP Bryce Harper, who trusts their NSF certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery. Clean and transparent ingredients. I love just ingredients prioritizing wholesome, nourishing ingredients without an artificial junk. Honestly, this is key, and they just sent me some. I'm actually excited to try it. Fueling performance, whether you're recovering after a workout or need an energy boost. They're grass-fed, whey protein, and pre-workout delivered real results. Visiting justingredients.com/Bryce Harper and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off your order. And for more wellness tips, follow at justingredients.com. Just Ingredients on Instagram. Quite honestly, too, they did us justice. They sent us a free pre-workout and protein. And like I said, it's pretty fire, tastes pretty good. And yeah. So on to the next one here. Ever check your bank account and wonder where did all my money go? That happens every time I go out. Dining, shopping online, entertainment. It's easy to lose track, which it really is. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app; it's complete financial command center, right? You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place, so you can stop managing your money and start building wealth. Surprising insight is when I started using Monarch Money, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. That hasn't changed. Now I budget smarter and save more. Even more collaboration. Monarch manages my money with partners that is even smoother than ever. You can track and share your personal accounts, set goals, stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code Locked On MLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com/locked on for half off your first year. And okay, well, that was fun. But yeah, no. Yeah. Dom, since I talked for a decade's worth of talking, please go.
Yeah, of course. Let's jump in with another faller here. And I feel like this one's been kind of obvious if you've been paying attention. Robert Suarez, had a good year last year closing for the Padres. Off the numbers, he pitched in 65 games. He had a 2.77 ERA. He actually compiled 9 wins and 36 saves, 65 innings pitched, 59 strikeouts with a 104 whip. Here's the thing. Suarez, I kind of came out of nowhere as a 32-year-old, 31-year-old, finally got to the bigs, showed a little bit in 2022, got, bombed in 2023, and then had a good year last year. Suarez is also going to be 34, coming into the year, and he's had probably the worst spring training out of any player in the MLB. 3.2 innings pitched, 8 earned runs, 4 walks, only 4 strikeouts, a 19.64 ERA, a 3.81 whip. It doesn't get much worse than that. And there's guys in that bullpen. I know they got Jeremiah Estrada. They got a couple more guys back there that can compete for, saves. I think it's going to be almost a wasted pick. Don't pick Robert Suarez. I don't know how else to say it to you guys. Like I said, I think he's going to go out there. They might give him the first couple of save chances. I think he gets bombed and they move on. Because like I said, there's other guys in that bullpen. I personally like Jeremiah Estrada a lot. He throws very hard. Last year, he was being talked about it, being thrown in the mix. So definitely, like I said, Robert Suarez is kind of not only a faller, but he's like an avoid at all costs for me, to be honest.
I'm there with you. So like what I like is one of my favorite sites I use for resources, RotoWorld. RotoWire, and they have like this kind of like a tool for closers, and pretty much how much leash does a closer have. And Robert Suarez has like a medium, which is kind of interesting, but I think after this spring, I think that might go down to like a short leash. And the only thing is, as much as I agree with you with Estrada being probably the most talented out of the bunch, it looks like Adams is probably going to be the next man up.
Yes, yeah, Jason Adam. They got him over from Tampa too. He's another one. Like I said, they got a bunch of names in there that could all compete for saves.
And he looks like that. Like that's the guy I'm pretty much like going to target, or at least add after the draft, because nobody's going to kind of look at him even. So you might get a free closer off the waiver wire that way. But Adam's somebody you want to take a look. He's the next in line, I think, that's going to get it, and then it's pretty much his job to lose. So yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about another guy here. Let's talk about Rhys Hoskins. Over now in over on those Brewers after coming off that ACL injury in 22 or 23 or whatever the hell it was. Yeah, there we go. I was right. So Hoskins honestly is killing it this spring. He has about 29 at bats, 10 runs, a whopping 6 home runs, 8 ribs, walked 5 times, 6 strikeouts, batting .310. He's looking great. Okay. Do I think the batting average is real? Absolutely not. That guy couldn't buy a batting average, even if you were to hand him and say, look, it's free, just take it out of my hands. He can't do it. He's pretty much a 245 hitter, career 238 hitter. That's pretty much what you're going to get, but you're going to get power from him. That's the one beautiful thing. You can get anywhere from 30 to 40 home runs. It's really just, it's a wide range of just how frisky he's feeling during the season, quite honestly. Hits hard, makes good contact, barrels a lot. He's somebody that's interesting and intriguing, especially if like I've drafted a team that's very speedy, or guys that usually are that, I don't have any guys that have that 40 home run upside. He's a guy going later that I can get, and that, isn't going to mutilate me in the batting average department, but be able to produce in power. Great UT option. I'm trying to get Rhys Hoskins, and when the team construction kind of calls for it. I'm not targeting him in every single draft, but I do like Rhys Hoskins.
Yeah, Matt. And then even in leagues where you need like a corner infielder, he's going to come into play there. He's going right now over the past 2 weeks on NFBC around pick 253. It's free 99. Matt, you mentioned it's 30 home run power. Last year, Hoskins in 131 games had 82 RBIs. I think he gets back closer to the mean with the batting average, 240, 30 home runs, 85 RBIs. Hey, at pick 250, I'll take that all day. Like I said, in those corner infielder leagues where you're playing like stuff like that, he's kind of the sneaky pick at the end. The Brewers are like actually a decently good team when everybody's healthy over there. They got a couple of young kids that can make a difference this year too. And Jackson Chourio year 2 is going to be scary. So I do like me some Rhys Hoskins. He's got a lot of guys to drive in on that Brewers team. Let's move into another faller. Unfortunately, it's another closer situation where I think the door is being closed on the former closer, to make a little pun there. David Bednar's having the second worst spring out of any human being in baseball, actually. I'll be honest with you. He's not far off from Robert Suarez, our buddy over there. But once again, Bednar, 30 years old, 14.4 ERA across 5 innings this spring, 8 earned runs, 9 runs in total, 10 hits, 3 walks, only 6 strikeouts, a 2.6 whip. And Bednar was horrible last year. Bednar had a 5.77 ERA last year, 57 innings pitched, only 58 strikeouts, and it was a 1.42 whip. Bednar is another guy that I'm absolutely avoiding. I think he's going to go into the year as the closer. Same situation as Suarez. He's going to lose it pretty quickly. I'm not super familiar with that Pirates bullpen at the moment. I don't know if there's a lot of other guys. I don't even know if we want who's ever going to be closing for those Pirates, because I don't know how good they're going to be this year. As I'm looking, Dennis Santana, maybe, or maybe Ferguson. Those are the only. Yeah, let's say those are the only 2 names that I recognize in that bullpen at all. But other than that, guys, I might be out on the Pittsburgh Pirates closing situation in general. I don't think it's going to be any fun this year. I'm not buying a bounce back for David Bednar.
Yeah, no, he's pretty much done. But if Dennis Santana gets in there, I'm not going to be too upset. He kind of meets some of the needs. Okay, if I'm desperate, or I just want a free saves off the waivers, that's exactly who I'm targeting too, because you know what, he does at least get like almost a K per inning. The ERA may still be in the high 3s, so you're going to have some inflated weeks, but as long as he's getting the saves and he's getting the Ks to kind of give me that boost, I'm not going to be too upset, especially if I got a good rotation around it. He should be able to hold down the job. He's not like he's a bad talent. We'll see where it goes, and then if that changes and he decides to lose it, we'll find somebody else for you. When you just look at the next in line, it is what it is. Now let's talk about. Man, I can't. So I gotta wait because I'm really excited about to talk about this next guy. But we got some cool things coming up with Locked On, and we just want to share this real quick, and then we'll be right back on the other side of this.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
Gonna be fun. Check it out. Honestly, our college sports and pretty much all of our sports coverage is awesome. So just go in and check it out. It's gonna be fun. Let's get back into baseball. I'm excited to talk about him. James Wood of the Washington Nationals. This dude is everything I dreamed of. I feel like he's going to be probably a top 12 pick next year.
Yeah.
Not to be so ambitious with a guy that's barely played in the MLB, but I mean, it's looking more and more apparent, and we're about to see a breakout. He's climbing up the ADP. I'm up in my rankings. I'm at like 15 right now. Probably going to make it up to about 13. Kid's a beast. 29 at bats, 9 runs, 4 doubles, 4 bombs, 9 ribs, 4 walks, and 9 strikeouts, batting .379 in spring training with an OBP of .455, a slug of .931, and an OPS of 1.386. Just absolutely tearing it. Like, James Wood has all the potential in the world to just like kind of go off. He has speed. He's going to steal bases as long as the Nationals give him a green light. Kid has power out the wazoo. And that team is better. I mean, the addition of Dylan Cruz, I think CJ Abrams, even though he won't ever live up to the potential that we all thought he had, still is going to be enough to, help Wood be successful in both runs and ribs. I'm really excited for this kid. It's going to be so much fun to watch the Nationals this year, and James Wood specifically.
Yeah, Matt. And you didn't even mention the spring training. I mean, the kid's been dominant. 10 games, 4 doubles, 4 home runs. So that's almost either. Yeah, did you? I'm so sorry. I guess I totally zoned out there for a second. No,
yeah, no, won't happen again.
Yeah, no, I won't. Woods, he's just been so good, man. Like you said, Matt, it could be a potential first-round pick next year. Mountain of a man, 6'7", 234, and he's fast too. What's not to like about the kid? If you can draft him as your outfielder 2 this year, which is kind of where the ADP is, I love it. High-end outfielder 2 at that. Matt, I'm right there, which I know I have in my top 15. There's definitely even room for him to move up with the dominant spring he's having. Draft all the James Woods you can, and you won't be disappointed. Going to be one of the biggest breakout players of 2025. Let's move on to another faller. Let's talk Spencer Steer. It's mainly injury issue with Steer. We don't know exactly how long he's going to be out, but he probably won't be there for opening day. Kind of opens up things for other guys over in Cincy. Not really too much else to add. The games he did play this spring, he wasn't looking so hot either. He had 20 home runs, 25 steals last year at 225. The speed's legit. The power just kind of plays because he plays in Cincinnati. Otherwise, I really wouldn't be a 20 home run kind of guy. And then by the time he makes it back healthy, who knows where he's going to end up in this lineup. So Steer, I know he has the positional eligibility. I believe it's second and third still. I know on Yahoo. But otherwise, man, I'm not really banking on Steer being great. And then again, you got to stash him on your IL, taking up an IL spot. Maybe if he goes undrafted in your league, you could take him and stash him at that point. But Steer isn't really somebody I'm going out of my way to draft, because I think it's really mainly going to be, even if it's 25 steals and, he played 158 games last year, only had 74 runs. 92 RBIs are nice, but I don't think he's going to stay in a sweet spot in that lineup anymore because they have so many mouths to feed over there. And Christian Encarnacion Strand has been on a tear this spring, and I think he kind of just moves up that lineup too, and it moves Steer down. So, yeah, maybe you got a 25 steal guy with potentially some RBI upside, but there's not really much more than that in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a shame. I kind of was like not really excited, but he was somebody that like I could totally see me drafting if the opportunity and the price was right. But this completely takes him out of it. I think, like you said, CES doing what he's doing, I think is going to just really this injury is going to thrust him to the top and then make him shine even more. And Steer's just going to become irrelevant for fantasy, maybe like, ride the wave kind of type guy when he's out there on waivers or when he's sitting on your team. But other than that, it's just going to be whatever. Let's move on. Somebody I love talking about, Pete Crow-Armstrong of the Chicago Cubs. Look, he's having a really good spring. Let me say that first. And I'm going to also say, my excitement for him is I like the talent. I'm not going to say let's run out and target him every single place in the sun. I do love him though. And I'll explain why. But he's not a guy I'm like, going to trust as like my first 3 outfielders or anything like that. He has to be a bench player. I can't have him as a starter. 27 at bats this spring with 9 runs, 4 doubles, 3 bombs, 11 ribs, 2 stolen bases, and batting .519. He's killing it. Look, the kid has speed. He is really fast. He's going to steal bases all day long. I think he probably has anywhere from 15 to 20 home run upside, along with those stolen bases that could probably reach anywhere from 35 to 40. The batting average is legit. Obviously, he's not going to hit 500, but he's probably going to hit this fall season. If I had to throw a number out there, 260, 270. And the runs are going to be there, and the ribs are going to be the question mark. It's really just a matter of where he's sitting in that lineup and where he's going to be slotted in, and can he maintain? So if he gets higher in the lineup, is he going to be able to perform enough for them to keep him up there? And same thing with down. Is there going to be people around him to drive home or for him to drive home? So it's just something to be aware. But he's already up to pick 144 and overall ADP across like 4 platforms. I do like him. I'm targeting him, but I'm just, again, I can't walk away with him as a starter, as my outfielder. Maybe my last UT, but I'm going to have like a Josh Young or somebody or a CES to kind of back that up so I can get a little bit more emphasis on guys that I think are going to have higher upside and also, there. But the stolen base ceiling is limitless.
Yeah, Matt, great breakdown on PCA there. I don't have a crazy amount to add. I think you said well. He's not somebody like I'm going out of my way to target, but if that time, like you said, you're looking at your second utility around that time in like a 12-man league. You got some deep benches. You need someone that's going to grab you some steals. The thing is, Matt, you nailed it too. Is where is he going to hit in the lineup? I'm looking at roster resource. They have it: Happ, Suzuki, Tucker, Bush, Swanson, PCA. I like that spot for RBIs. I don't necessarily love it for runs. I would like to see, I don't want to say somebody get hurt, but, say Suzuki's usually hurt a lot. If say Suzuki gets hurt and you see PCA move up into that 2-hole, I think that's where he could thrive. That's where you're really going to see the speed, the runs, potential batting average, like Matt said, maybe like 260, 270. Let's kind of see where the thing goes with the kid, because there's a lot of upside. There's a reason he was a high-end prospect. I think he was the Cubs' #1 prospect at one point. So there's definitely draftability here. There's definitely draftability with PCA. I'm definitely a fan. Let's keep things pushing. Let's talk. We got our last guy lined up here. Another faller, Jake Burger. I think the thing is with Burger, he's not that much different from Rhys Hoskins. And, with all those mouths to feed, all those young guns in the Texas Rangers organization have one of the best minor league systems in baseball. I just don't know it. Like, I see a world where Burger gets off to a bad start and, like I said, some of those other mouths to feed start, taking off in the minors. And it's like, okay, how much do you really like him at that point? And then also Burger's expected to hit 8th in this lineup. I know it's a stacked lineup, but really bad spot. He's got Carter and Young in front of him too, but I'm just really not loving it for a guy that can, basically do what Rhys Hoskins does. It's a 30 home run guy that's going to hit 240 and, maybe give you some RBIs. I'm just don't want to pay the price for Burger, which right now is the 13th first baseman, pick 111. And then where did we say Hoskins going? Almost 140 picks later. I just don't see the huge difference. CES goes later. Isaac Paredes goes later. Ryan Mountcastle goes later. There's a lot of guys with the same profile as Burger that just go later. So why pay the price for, something that's, why pay that price when you can get basically the same thing later on is basically what I'm trying to say about Burger. He was somebody who I was excited about. And then when you kind of just deep dive it and you really look at it, it's just like, okay, shouldn't be as excited about it as we are.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said too. You know what? Like hitting that low in the order usually generates less at bats. Less at bats means less counting stats and then less production for you. So being the 13th first baseman off the board, that's horrendous. Like I'd take a flyer on him if he was like much later, but no, thank you. You said it very well with the other options and too. Like I mean, also got to weigh your values. Like okay, guys that are going around him, is it really worth it? Like let's just look at real quick of guys going around at pick, what did you say, 111?
111.
Right. So 112 is Vinny Pasquantino. I'm taking him. Way better upside. There's better pitching around there. There's Ian Happ. Shoot, I'd even take a shot at Bobichef for that price. You got Strider going around. You got Matt Chapman, Shane McClanahan, Randy Rosarina. No, let me take that one back.
Dylan Cruz goes at pick
Yeah.
126.
Yeah, exactly. Like there is way better options like that you could kind of take around there. Like Burger should be drafted way later than what it is, and that's really about it. And I understand, like, yo, you believe in the talent, the team, etc. Like that's great, but the talent is again Rhys Hoskins, and again, I take Rhys Hoskins, who has a great track record, who's done it a million times, and is going to be in a better position to perform and produce you in all three strong categories, and then at least not mutilate you in batting average. So that's
And it's not like Burger's a spring chicken, and he's 29. I mean, it's not like he's like in the midst of his career, and there's that like upside with him. Look at his 2023. He hit 34 homers, he had 80 RBIs, and he hit 250. I think that's gonna be a very similar mark. I don't even know if he gets to 34. I know it's a better ballpark. I know he hit Miami last year, but I mean, even if it's 34, 80, and 250, how off is that from what Rhys Hoskins is going to give you, and any of those other first basemen that we are going later that we named? Matt, any other thoughts here before we head out?
Yeah, one last thing, and too, like especially if you're in points leagues, the amount of times that this dude strikes out, is just going to destroy any kind of production. Yeah, any production that you could possibly get from him. So like, I would just avoid him at all costs. And hopefully the price comes down by this weekend, but I doubt it. Let him be a landmine on somebody else's team. But guys, please like, subscribe, comment, rate, review, share this podcast because we love doing it and it helps keeps the light on. So yeah. And then when you're done, check out our boy Sully over at Locked On MLB. But yeah, and also join Subtext, get in that listener league, get a shot at it. Peace out, guys.
See ya.